Hello world, welcome to episode 1 of the 3FL podcast. I'm your host Tyler Friend, and today we're going to break down basically what 3FL podcast is, everything that it's about, kind of some things that I've been working on as a project personally that I would want to share with the world. So 3FL, it stands for Faith, Family, Fitness, Love, Loyalty, and Leadership. Personally, I think that it's something that shaped my life for a greater cause. So what we're going to do is we're going to break all that down. I'm going to share a couple stories with you, get to kind of let you know who I am a little bit more, and then what you can expect to come in future episodes. So first things first is why 3FL? Why are those 6 words so important? So faith, family, fitness, love, loyalty, and leadership has been something that overall, whenever I look back on my life since I turned my life over to God and lived it and started to live in a new identity, that have been the things that have been most significant to me, whether, in a universal state. So whether, I had faith or I needed to cling to faith and I found faith, it played a huge part in it. And I know, in doing that, I was able to, find a better life and just being able to trust and believe in myself and God and in the process. So family, I think, represents support, whether it be the family that you live with, or your blood family, or the family that you found that you guys, support each other and people that are really in your corner and really show love and support for you. I would say fitness. So whether it's, mental fitness, actual, physical fitness, financial fitness, the things that, making sure that, your life are fit for you to be sustainable or to have the security that you need and believe in yourself overall. So love, loyalty, and leadership, I believe are 3 things that are super important: to love others, to be loyal to people, and to, be an example and be a good leader in life. So I feel like the first 3, which is faith, family, fitness, those 3 are all transformational. And I think that, love, loyalty, and leadership are all relational, but all 6 of them, I think are on an unconditional basis. So in my life, what I've seen is a lot of transformation, and then a lot of really good relationships that I built with people, but always on an unconditional level. And I think that's super significant and important. I want to share a couple stories with you. And then after that, just to kind of get you to understand what to expect on the later episodes. So I'm going to kind of break it down and kind of tell you a little bit about my past life. As a kid, when I was younger, I was very angry, and I was very mad at the world. I felt I was very broken as a kid, based off of certain life circumstances, which is later on in episodes we'll kind of break those down a little bit more. But in certain life circumstances, I found myself in just super extreme environments, and not making the right choices, hanging around with the wrong crowds, beginning to sell drugs at a young age, and skip school. And just be super rebellious as a kid. And I feel like, being able to, in going through that and creating a big mess, from the ages of 15 to 23, I feel like I was able to, understand what life wasn't about, what it, the things that that could possibly happen to you if you don't make the right choices. And I wouldn't have traded them for nothing in the world, but they were very, I would say, traumatic, or they were very life-changing in a way to where, you really see a lot of different perspectives later on in life. As you re-diagnose all the things that you went through, you're able to see a lot of different perspectives of what goes on. So from those ages, I was just a very negative person, whether the life that I was living, the interactions that I was having, the influence that I was providing into people's lives, it just was very negative. And I feel like, I was living in my own will because I wanted to just, I wanted to be angry, and I wanted to do whatever I wanted. But it wasn't up until, I was 23 years old. And this was the biggest breaking point for me, where I was able to see breakthrough in my life, was, a life-threatening thing that happened when I was 23. I had to end up overdosing on drugs. And then from that point, that my eyes were open and the veil was lifted, and I was seeing who I was, right? And how I was influencing people and the things that I was doing and what it was causing. And it scared me. I was a very eye-opening moment for me. So then about 6 years ago, it would be November 30th, 2018 is when I actually gave my will and my life over to God. That's why I feel like this is a significant thing to share at this point in time, because I feel like it's just a very monumental and very, I would say crazy, transformation from the past 6 years. So I wanted to be able to share it with the world. But as I was able to, finally give my will and my life over to God, I had a big mess to clean up. I got arrested 5 times. I didn't have $1 to my name. I was on probation. I turned myself in. I told him I felt like I was a threat to myself. And I was praying to God that I could just go get treatment and get some help. And then I had sat in jail for about 7 months after that, after they arrested me. During those 7 months, I was really, 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 had clung to my faith and really had just wanted a chance. I wanted a chance to be able to change my life and be able to, just have an opportunity to just live a normal life and be able to, contribute to society. And I was noticing a lot of these things, and I was just praying that I would just get a moment. I seen how I was hurting my family, and I seen how, how broken they were, and based off the actions that I had, because I had ended up doing a lot of traumatizing things to them, just from my behaviors, and being able to go and get away for a minute and really find myself and kind of talk to God a lot, and was very young in my faith, but for some reason I was always just thinking that there was an opportunity for me. And 7 months had went by. I was able to finally get into the Phoenix House Treatment Center. And, whenever I went there, I said, okay, this is my opportunity to change my life for the better. And I need to take every opportunity to just grow and get better through every situation, because I was just in so much pain, and I had so much guilt and shame with, the life that I was living, and created just such a person inside of me that was just very broken. So I couldn't necessarily understand what was going on and fully and notice the big picture in the situation. But I knew every day that if I just made sure that I got better every day, that I would make it out. And I just always had clung to that. And I ended up getting a job at Zone Health and Fitness. What happened there was I started as a janitor. The culture there had changed me, and a lot of the people that were, leaders there, they had always pushed me to grow and get better, and they believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. And then if you fast forward now through that process, after I have learned and just grew every day now to this point, I manage one of the clubs there. So I started from the very bottom. Now I'm the general manager at one of our locations. But in the process of me being able to find myself and believe in myself and work for the organization, I was able to see a bigger picture. And, there was a moment after I would always, study and self-develop and grow every day. And I would push my team a lot, but I would always feel like I was leaving something on the table. And when I'm sitting here now, this is the vision that I had, was to be able to sit in front of a camera and share, stories of people that share the same identity of faith, family, fitness, love, loyalty, and leadership, and believe in the same morals and values as me. And they kind of have some of the same, similar stories, but not necessarily the same exact one, where they had to cling to their faith and they really needed a support system, and they pulled through. And they were able to just stay healthy and fit with their fitness. And in doing that, they were able to live a more fruitful life and be more loving and have, more loyalty for their team or their family or the organization or for God, and then be a good leader in the process. So that's the big picture here for what I'd like to do, is to bring light to the world about, how God works, and how, how amazing, some amazing stories that that he's able to provide for us through the eyes of us and how we've lived through it. And I think this is a very powerful story that I know is going to be able to reach people. And I know there's going to be somebody on the other side of the screen that probably needs help or needs some type of experience of some type of strength and hope that they want to push through. Or maybe that they need something else to believe in that they just can't find anywhere else, So I want to create something not just unique, but obviously something bigger than me, something more for the community, where we're able to highlight, certain nonprofits or certain businesses that, follow some of the same principles and morals, and I want to bring them on to be able to, help them, grow, and because obviously to be able to support them and help them in the community is something that's been, on my heart a lot lately too. So just being able to, utilize this as a tool to bring awareness to people and make sure that we're staying together as a community and building a strong foundation. So I want to share another story with you guys about how, number one, my habits and me having an opportunity or a moment where I didn't really have a choice but to cling to my faith, and the strength that it provided through the process. So last year, I think it was around February, I had went to the dentist to get a root canal and an extraction, and then I left with a headache. It was a headache that ended up lasting for about 7 months. I ended up, going having a 6th cranial nerve palsy in this eye, so my eye had went like cockeyed. I was seeing double vision. I was scared. I was going in and out of doctor's appointments through the 7-month process, trying to figure out what was going on. After running every single test, they could never figure out what the problem was. And eventually that's when I had the 6th cranial nerve palsy. And then after that, I was, I woke up one day and I thought that the problem had fixed itself. And then, I had, cause in my right eye, this is where I'm blind, and in my left eye, I had closed my left eye and I couldn't see anything. And it was a very heartbreaking moment, because it's like, I'm 29 years old. I wouldn't have expected to go through something. It was something that was like something you just don't expect, out of the situation. So, in going through, that process of like having really bad headaches every day for, months and months and months at a time, having to go to the hospital for 12 days, trying to figure out what's going on with you, what's wrong, getting put on medication that, was just a guess, and the guess was wrong. So you just keep taking medication throughout the 7 months that made you sick. You lost a lot of weight. Can't keep food down, can't think straight. At moments through last year, I had contemplated suicide on like a number of occasions. Thank God for him, but being able to provide a great support system around me that was able to really love me and take care of me, to the best of their ability through the process, was how I had really gotten through those moments. But, eventually I was able to get out of the hospital. I got put on prednisone, and my hormones were out of whack. I was trying to go back to work, and I was still just off. But eventually, when everything had leveled out, I was able to cling back to not just the faith that I had that everything was okay, because I was able to see the value of health and why it's so important to have it. And if you don't have it, how, dependent you have to be on other people. And it really stuck out to me in that process of like, I'm glad that I was able to have faith through the end of the process. I'm glad I was able to have the support that I needed. But overall, just the amount of love and loyalty and the health that I was able to recover through that process because of the habits that I had before. Thankfully that I some of the habits that I had were, making sure you eat clean, eat really good food, so that way your body can heal faster, or heal to the best of its ability and as fast as it can. Making sure that you exercise, making sure that you keep your mental clarity straight, because I know like through the process, whenever I was like new and like just getting to having to understand that like you can't see out of this eye anymore. Those were things that like kind of like, you know, you wanted to look at it and be defeated, but because, you know, you believed in yourself so much and you always know that on the other side of every crazy story or every bad moment is obviously a happy ending to it if you walk with God. So those are things that are very important to me that I feel like as well that I wanted to share. But the best part about it, the story's not over with that. There was one day that one of the doctors, this was the last doctor's visit that I had went to. I went to Shands and I went to Gainesville and to a neuro-ophthalmologist, and they were just saying, hey, we're sorry to tell you that, you know, you'll never see out of this again. And you'll never see out of your eye again. You always, you know, you're still able to drive. They were trying to give me some silver lining with the process, but, you know, just having to accept that in the moment was very, very hard. I cried all the way home. And, you know, just accepting it and then making sure that you just get stronger through the process and being able to adapt obviously is super important as well. But I was able to actually, you know, after about 8 or 9 or 10 months of just relentlessly getting better, just trying to get better at my life and grow and become a better person and get closer to God and just be of a better influence and you know, look at life as something that you should live all in with. And in doing that, I was able to seek a sign of hope whenever I was watching a seminar one day on the internet. It was like 8 hours long. It was when one of the hurricanes had hit. I watched a seminar for about 8 hours because I just wanted to study and get better that day. And there was nothing else that I could do because I had to be home. So, and watching it, I had heard of, or I had witnessed, when I was watching it, it started talking about like stem cell therapy and how it can cure, you know, certain things in the body that, you know, your body usually can't cure on its own. And it just stuck out. It was something that I felt like I was supposed to read or I was supposed to see. And it was a moment that made me, you know, think a little bit more into the situation. So I started like to Google it and research stuff. And, you know, it does have some promising effects that if you do stem cell for long enough, that you're able to actually see or get vision again. So I feel like whenever, you know, you get a sign of hope, that, you know, no matter what, you should chase that dream. Or if you get something that can change your life, like that, you should obviously, you know, be relentless with it and make sure that, like, you know, you open up every door, because at the end of the day, it could be the thing that changes your life. So somehow, some way, ended up in a doctor's office at an event through work, and was able to talk to somebody about stem cell therapy. And I was talking to them because I thought it was going to be a little bit crazier, and I thought you had to get injections or whatever. It's like, I'll do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter. I'll pay the money for it. I don't care. And then they're like, hey, Tyler, it's not even that hard anymore. You can actually just get eye drops for it. You can expect to see again in the next 6 to 12 months. So just to be able to get an answer after somebody else had, you know, through all odds had told me that I'll never see out of it again, and give me a sign of hope is just an amazing feeling. And I think God had a huge part in the whole story. And in every part of my story, I think that he always, you know, even in my obedient and disobedient times, that he's always been there for me. And even in the mess and the problems that I've been through, he's the one that's always been able to lift me up and, you know, give me signs and moments of confirmation that this is just supposed to happen. And it always gives me more rest assured whenever I'm able to see, you know, things firsthand and be able to just understand a little bit better what's going on. So, you know, being a loving person, being loyal, being a great leader, having faith, you know, having support of a family, and taking care of your health is, what I feel like, how I live in my identity. And, that's the reason why I wanted to share some of the stories that I have with you. Those are just a couple of them. I know there's a lot of different ones and a lot of, other moments as I bring people on and I start talking about more, some of the impact and things that they have in their life and in people's lives. But also I want to, later on in the future, be able to provide more stories of impact that we're able to have on other people. So, during the next episodes, you're probably going to be able to expect, like, number one, really good stories and like really good, like, impactful moments in people's lives because of, I think the frequency that we all live on, the frequency that we have, we attract the right people. And I think that there's a lot of influential people around me that I love to share moments like this with and bring it to light. So that's what you can expect in the future episodes. I really, if you really, if you liked this, if there was some power in it, if there was something that you did see that really stuck out to you, or there was like a moment that, you could really identify with, or you want to be able to share with somebody else, go ahead and give me a like, give me a share, comment on it. Let me know how it is. If there's anything that you want to hear more about that relates with the identity of the podcast, the identity of, some of the things that we've just talked about, please feel free to reach out. If you want to talk more about maybe being on the podcast or whatever, let me know. We can obviously we can do an interview and make sure that, figure out what we want to talk about and things like that. It's up to you. So I want to thank you again for all the love and support, and I really appreciate everybody that's watched the episode. I want to just express gratitude because I know, like, without you guys, this thing really wouldn't take off. It wouldn't make sense, for me to look and see like nobody viewing it. It'd be discouraging. So anything that, little investment that you put into the process, whether it be a like, a share, a comment, I'm super grateful for. Thank you for your time, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.